Namaskar. This is a short summary of the course on genocide that I'm going to offer because I had a lot of requests to offer this course for a long time and I didn't have time. We will start the course with two definitions. One is from Raphael Lemkin, a Polish Jewish author who gave a definition, and his definition forms the basis of what the United Nations have as genocide and atrocities. His definition is, according to Raphael Lemkin, by genocide we mean the destruction of a nation or an ethnic group. Generally speaking, genocide does not necessarily mean the immediate destruction of a nation, except when accomplished by mass killing of all members of a nation. It is extended rather to signify a coordinated plan of different actions aiming at the destruction of the essential foundations of the life of national group with the aim of annihilating the group themselves. Then we will give a contrasting definition. I won't say it's that much contrasting, but it's an interesting definition from Pandit Jonaraj, a Kashmiri Pandit who saw the destruction of the ancient Kashmiri Hindu civilization. And his definition is interesting because he talks about jati bidhwangs, the destruction of a race. And he talks about uprootment and how the branches of a tree are cut. So it's very metaphorical. So we will do that. And then we'll talk about the different articles in United Nations genocide prevention and so forth. And then we will talk about some important elements within genocide. The first is agent. Who is the agent? Who is the perpetrator? Then we'll talk about victims. Then we will talk about the goals of genocide. What is the goal? And then we'll talk about strategies of genocide. Then we'll talk about intent, and that will be the background. Then we have to make a distinction between genocide, mass killing, hate crime, and ethnic cleansing. These are all different things. They're defined differently. For example, are Hiroshima and Nagasaki genocides? No. Neither of them fulfill the definition of genocide given by either Lemkin or the United Nations. So we will go through all of this. Then we will talk about the different ethnic cleansing and the different ways it has been dealt with. Then we will talk about, we will go through the methodologies that are used to study genocide and then some of the contested theories of genocide. That's the theoretical part. It's going to take a while to do that. The first few weeks, we are just going to talk about the theoretical part. And then we are going to apply it especially to the genocide in Bengal and Kashmir. We will not take the definitions of genocide given by Lemkin and some other theoreticians, and to name some of them, let me name some of the other theoreticians. Vahakan Dadrian, he also gives a definition of genocide. Genocide is the successful attempt by a dominant group vested with formal authority and preponderant access to the overall resources of power to reduce by coercion or lethal violence the number of minority groups whose ultimate extermination is held desirable, useful, and whose respective vulnerability is a major factor contributing to the decision for genocide. And then we'll also give Irving Louis Horowitz's definition of genocide, which restricts the agency to the state apparatus. According to Horowitz, genocide is a structural and systemic destruction of innocent people by a state bureaucratic apparatus. Genocide represents a systematic effort over time to liquidate a national population, usually a minority, and functions as a fundamental policy to assure conformity and participation for citizenship. Now, we will critique all these definitions, but what's interesting is there are things that are latent that we can bring out from these definitions. For example, Lemkin's definition does not cover two very important things. One is iconoclast, and the second is conversion. Is conversion also genocide? We will try to draw from his and the other definitions, for example, Dadrian and Horowitz's definition, how both of these are genocides. They are not overtly given in those definitions, but they are covertly. And we will use examples from Kashmir, Bengal, and so forth, and other conversions that happened in the Indian subcontinent. So these are the two things missing. And one that is missing in all the definitions is the question of sexual violence and the changing of the race, the rape of women, the violence. Rape happens in war and so forth, but genocide, rape is an integral part. They talk about it a little, but not too much. And the interesting thing is, this is the basis of how species are made, through the propagation of species, race, sexual violence, and how they are also, the undoing of a nation also happens through sexual violence, rape, and so forth. So we'll talk about that also. The course is going to start in January 2025. It's going to go through March. It's once a week course. If there's popular demand, we can do it twice a week, but it's completely online. All the material for the course will be given by the organization, which is Swaka Foundation, Harshita Foundation, who are offering this course. And this is the first time we are going to talk about genocide and ethnic cleansing, hate crime, all this within a course. And again, my special application to this is the Hindu Genocide, with special emphasis on Bengal and then also Kashmir. So I would urge all of you to look at this course. I'm very soon going to put out another poster, and please go through the syllabus. The syllabus consists of, as I said, the first few weeks will be just the definition and the theoretical part, and the second part will be more application and critique. So it's a very important course for us to understand some of the civilizational struggles that we are going through it. Towards the end of the course, I will talk about trauma, public trauma. That consists both when things like rape and sexual violence are becoming part of the popular imagination, and genocide is also becoming part of the popular imagination, how the two are actually the same. And all the fees and everything will be given in the poster. They're there. So you have to pay the organization, which is Swaka Harshita, and then the course will start. It is completely online. No materials need to be bought because everything will be supplied by the organization. And I'll be the instructor, and then I'll bring in some victims of genocide from Kashmir and Bengal, and we will have them talk. So that's the way some oral histories will be recounted. That's more or less the overview of the course. Thank you. Please ask questions in the comment section, and we will do our best to respond. There is also an email for our organization, swakaharshitafoundation@gmail.com. You can also send your email with your queries. Thank you. Namaskar.